Great Britain, prior to the outbreak of World War I, was a nation that had experienced significant economic and social changes in the preceding decades. The country had emerged as a global power during the 19th century thanks to its vast colonial empire, booming economy, and technological advancements. Economic changes. Great Britain's economy had undergone significant changes during the 19th century. The Industrial Revolution had transformed the country from a primarily agricultural economy to an industrialized economy, powered by coal and steam. By the late 19th century, Britain was the world's leading industrial nation, and its global dominance was reinforced by its extensive colonial empire, which provided raw materials and new markets for its goods. However, these economic changes were not without their challenges. Economic growth was unevenly distributed, with the north of England and Scotland experiencing significant industrialization, while the south remained primarily agricultural. This created regional disparities and contributed to social unrest. Furthermore, the growth of the industrial sector led to the exploitation of workers, with low wages and poor working conditions. The labor movement grew in response to these conditions, and unions formed to protect workers' rights and fight for better wages and conditions. Political changes. The growth of industry and the expansion of the middle class led to significant changes in Britain's political system. The country had gradually moved towards a representative democracy, with the Reform Acts of 1832 and 1867 extending the right to vote to more people. By the turn of the century, the Liberal Party had emerged as the dominant political force, championing social and political reforms. They introduced measures to improve working conditions, establish a welfare state, and extend the right to vote to women. However, these reforms were met with opposition from the Conservative Party and traditionalists, who feared the erosion of British values and institutions. There were also concerns about the impact of these reforms on the economy, with some arguing that they would undermine Britain's competitive edge. Imperialism. One of the defining features of Great Britain prior to World War I was its vast colonial empire. The country had established colonies and trading posts around the world, including in India, Africa, and the Caribbean. This empire provided raw materials for British industry and new markets for its goods. However, the expansion of the empire was not without controversy. There were concerns about the exploitation of native populations, and there were conflicts with other imperial powers, such as Germany, over control of colonies and territories. Foreign relations. Great Britain's foreign relations in the years leading up to World War I were dominated by the emerging balance of power between the major European powers. The country had traditionally maintained a policy of splendid isolation, avoiding entanglements in European conflicts. However, the rise of Germany as a major power in the late 19th and early 20th centuries changed this. The German Empire had emerged as a significant economic and military power, challenging Britain's dominance in Europe and around the world. Britain responded by forming alliances with other European powers, including France and Russia, to counter the German threat. These alliances would eventually lead to Britain's involvement in World War I. In conclusion, Great Britain before World War I was a nation that had undergone significant economic and social changes. The country had emerged as a global power with an extensive colonial empire and a dominant industrial sector. However, these changes were not without their challenges, including regional disparities, social unrest, and concerns about the impact of reforms on the economy. Great Britain's foreign relations were dominated by the emerging balance of power between the major European powers, with the rise of Germany as a major power challenging Britain's dominance. This led to the formation of alliances and eventually Britain's involvement in World War I.